evening and welcome to this edition of the Evening News for today, Saturday, September 2, 2023. I am Jemima Holmes. Thank you for tuning in. In the headlines this evening, Rich Cultural Extravaganza opens curtains on Amerindian Heritage Month 2023. President Cabinet leads cleanup exercise in Georgetown. Explore all tools to ensure free, fair elections, says outgoing U.S. Ambassador. And CORENTYNE cyclist succumbs after colliding with higher car. Now for the news in detail. We begin tonight's newscast by telling you that the rich cultural fabric woven over the years by the indigenous people was on Friday evening celebrated in a glamorous extravaganza to open this year's Amerindian Heritage Month. Rupa Sinarain has more.
Amerindian Heritage Month is observed every September, this year under the theme Sustaining Our Cultural Heritage and Identity While Contributing to One Guyana. Kickstarting the festivities was a cultural extravaganza opening ceremony at the National Park, putting spotlight on the different tribes, their languages, dance, food, and other important elements of their existence. Amerindian Affairs Minister Pauline Sukai pronounced on the fact that Guyana's indigenous culture is rich and diverse, adding that her administration has always stood by its commitment to highlight, integrate, and support opportunities to the country's First Peoples.
It's a model for the world to emulate, whereby a government as progressive as our government can sit with our indigenous leaders and dialogue with them on the challenges, on the opportunities, and of course on solution, talking about solution as it relates to their development, their livelihood, and their people's well-being.
Governance and Parliamentary Affairs Minister Gail Teixeira zeroed in on the fact that Guyana is blessed to have a society that is multicultural. The indigenous peoples were lauded as custodians of the environment.
Our diversity must not be a weapon of division, but our diversity is a way to build a nation. Our indigenous people here at this event and across the country today have for centuries had a deep connection with nature. This connection is rooted in your religious beliefs, traditional knowledge, and practices. You have for centuries been custodians of our environment, and you have been its prime protectors. Your sustainable lifestyles of your ancestors and those today, and practices over the centuries have helped to maintain our forests and keep their biodiversity intact.
Among the events planned throughout the month are an art exhibition at Castellani House, Cultural Nights, Batavia Village Day, Heritage Sports, and others. Additionally, Amerindian arts, crafts, and cuisine will also be available at the Amerindian Village, Sophia, until September 5th. Rupa Sinarain, The Evening News.
As the 2022 National Tushaus Council Conference came to a close on Friday, President Dr. Irfan Ali assured the indigenous leaders of the government's multi-billion-dollar investments in key areas of education, infrastructure, healthcare, agriculture, and tourism within the hinterland and riverine communities. Find out more in this Pooja Rambaran report.
The week-long NTC conference saw leaders across the hinterland communities discussing areas of concern with government officials at the Arthur Chung Convention Center, Lilliandale, Greater Georgetown.
In total, given your overall requests of almost $35 billion and your prioritized requests of $10.4 billion, this is the priority. The Minister of Finance, Dr. Ashley Singh, has already started to input these priorities into the budget program based on the requests made to the government. We have immediately set aside $100 million for community grounds and community facilities.
This is in addition to the further $16 billion investment remaining for this year, of which $6 billion is specifically for hinterland roads. He further noted that the government is embarking on an aggressive program to improve teachers' quarters and hostels, expand existing schools, and build new schools where practical. This is in addition to constructing new regional hospitals and health centers and expanding health services and telemedicine sites. The president also disclosed plans to work with community members on a program for the remainder of this year and the following year, whereby the government will increase investments to improve internet connection.
This is going to be an expensive endeavor, but we have committed to this, that our IT infrastructure must bridge the divide and allow persons in the hinterland to have access to all the facilities, including becoming trained teachers, nurses, health workers, healthcare support staff, and more importantly, the full potential of the GOLD program will then be at your disposal.
Meanwhile, in the agriculture sector, the president stated that $300 million will be set aside in the new budget for food security and agricultural development. He added that Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa is working to set up a specific unit that deals with hinterland food security and food production.
We are willing to immediately train 150 of your young people from your regions and your communities in these areas to support food production, food security, and agricultural expansion.
Pooja Brand for the Evening News.
Having had first-hand observation of the March 2020 general and regional elections fiasco, the outgoing United States Ambassador to Guyana, Sarah Ann Lynch, is urging the country to examine all the options available to strengthen its electoral system in order to ensure free and fair elections. Details in this Luanda McAllister report.
U.S. Ambassador Sarah Ann Lynch made this remark during a recent press conference, her last here, as she wraps up an almost 5-year stint in Georgetown. Ambassador Lynch, along with other Western diplomats, had played an integral role in ensuring democracy prevailed in Guyana and the will of the Guyanese people was upheld after blatant attempts to rig the March 2nd, 2020 elections in favor of the then APNU-AFC regime. During Thursday's press conference, the U.S. diplomats said that there are a number of lessons learned from the controversial election.
My understanding is that Guyana is exploring biometrics, and I think many nations now are exploring biometrics as one additional tool that they can use to ensure that elections are free and fair. So I don't know what the final decision will be, but I think it's important to explore all tools that Guyana has access to in order to, again, ensure that elections continue to be free and fair.
Back in May, Vice President Barjagdeo had stated that the use of biometrics could help enormously at polling stations, but manual verification checks by party agents would still be required. GECOM Chair Justice retired Claudette Singh had said in June that a constitutional reform is needed in order for the electoral body to clean the present voters list and introduce biometrics into the voting process. Meanwhile, the outgoing U.S. diplomat pointed out that there are still several recommendations that were made after the 2020 polls that are yet to be implemented. On this note, the U.S. envoy urged Guyana to ensure those recommendations are implemented.
The electoral process is critical to a strong democracy. So I would advise the people of Guyana, the government, all parties to look at those recommendations very closely. Look at the recommendations that were made after the 2020 election to see what really stands out, what things can be worked on now. You don't want to wait till the last minute until it's a month before the election. I think some of these recommendations may take some time, so you need to start working on them now. I know one takeaway during 2020 for U.S. Embassy was that when I observed some of the elections, it looked like there was some polling stations didn't have good access for persons with disabilities. So if you're talking about changing infrastructure, for example, that could take some time. So I would say get going on those recommendations sooner rather than later.
Amanda McAllister, the Evening News.
Just after the crack of dawn today, President Dr. Irfan Ali and several cabinet ministers led a cleanup exercise throughout the capital city in demonstration of his government's commitment to holistic transformation. Here is Rupasina Ryan once more with the details.
The head of state spearheaded the cleanup exercise in Sofia and the Georgetown seawalls, where he was joined by senior minister within the office of the president with responsibility for finance Dr. Ashni Singh, public works minister Juan Edghill, natural resources minister Vikram Barrett, and minister of home affairs Robeson Ben. President Ali explained that Guyana's transformation must not only be through infrastructure, such as roads and buildings, but also cleanliness and appreciation of the environment.
This is another demonstration of our total commitment to Guyana, our commitment to the improvement of every aspect of life in Guyana, and the way we ought to be and the type of examples we ought to set if we are to change Guyana. Guyana cannot only be changed with nice roads and buildings. It has to be changed by each of us. Changing the way we treat the environment, changing our behavior to the environment, the way we drive on the road, the way we respect each other on the road, the type of responsibility we exercise towards each other.
In just Georgetown, over 1,400 persons came out to support the cleanup efforts.
That tells you that our people, the Guyanese people, are committed to this task. We now have to ensure that we work, each of us, work on changing another person, changing them so that they will understand how important it is to keep the place clean, how important it is to be a positive role model.
Chief of Staff of the Guyana Defense Force Omar Khan, Acting Police Commissioner Clifton Hicken, members of the joint services, the private sector and civil society also participated in the cleanup efforts. This cleanup has been dubbed important since it leads into the cricket carnival period and then the Christmas season. Rupa Sinarain, The Evening News.
A 20-year-old motorcyclist is now dead after the bike he was riding crashed into a car along the CORENTYNE Highway at Rose Hall Town, Region 6. Our Berbice correspondent Andrew Carmichael joins us with the details.
Dead is Avishkar Ishmael, an agro-mechanic attached to the Albion Sugar Estate of Trainline Dam, Port Huron, CORENTYNE, Berbice. The incident occurred on Thursday afternoon, and Ishmael succumbed to his injuries at about midday on Friday while receiving medical attention. According to the police, at about 16 hours on Thursday, Ishmael was riding motorcycle CM 1602 when he crashed into a car HD 1189. The police said the car was proceeding at a normal rate of speed while the motorcyclist was proceeding at a fast rate of speed at an intersection when the bike hit the front portion of the car. Ishmael was taken to the Port Huron Hospital in an unconscious state and then transferred to the New Amsterdam Hospital. He was subsequently transferred to Georgetown Hospital, where he died while receiving treatment.
A little one start crying. He said, "Mama, you don't know how bad accidents body get." Say he had denting and say he hand broke. Say what? And then come back yesterday and tell us that my head hurt me bad. And the pressure raised high. Sometimes me say he dead. Say what? I say yes he dead.
What persons told you about the accident? What they told you happened?
Then tell me say, what car we go? And he been come. And when he been come and his car been go, then said one police been the back of car been go. And me no know, certain people say two police in motorbike. He see them police and like he been run away from them police because he never go with helmet. He never go with helmet. Me never see. So people talk. And he put up to the car. And when he put up to the car, so they must say because me never there. when he boot up to the car. The bike pitch, the car not damaged, the bike pitch, and he fall, but then people drain can up, and then boat fall off, and he knocked his head.
Saran said she became a mother and father to Ishmael and his two siblings while they were all at a tender age.
Normally, when you go walk afternoon, you just go by Sweet Mouth like a Chinese shop there, or you just go back so when you not get what you want, like a cookies and a cake and so you just buy drinks and so. So this bike does go normally and you come back quick. But this bike take a little long to come. Me don't know how we meet till there, where you go do till there. And like he late to walk because he got to meet inside at 6 o'clock. And even almost after 4. So he just normally bathe like a 2:30, just get ready like. And he just come out with a stroke. So me don't know how we meet till there.
Meanwhile, police have since detained the 43-year-old hire car driver of Hampshire Corentyne. Investigations are continuing. For the Evening News, Andrew Carmichael.
And now for a look at the bridge reports.
The Demerara Harbour Bridge will be closed to vehicular traffic on Sunday, September 3rd, 2023 at 7 hours for a period of 1.5 hours. Meanwhile, the Berbice River Bridge is expected to be closed at 6 hours 30 on Sunday, September 3rd, 2023, also for a period of 1.5 hours.
And now the local stock exchange market compliments of Gassi. CPL 2023 unbeaten Guyana Amazon Warriors defeat Patriots by 98 runs. This and more coming up in the Sportcast, sponsored by MacCorp.
Mechanics, Sylvie's has all the equipment you need to make your job easier and your business profitable. Visit our 31 High and Hatfield Street store and choose from our wide array of shop presses, engine hoists, oil drain pans, parts washers, jack stands, bottle and floor jacks, hand tools and much more. Can't make it to the store? Shop online at sylviesonline.com and have it delivered. Call or WhatsApp 623-7755 for more info.
Superbet, your best bet. Do you wish to pass some time and win while doing so? Play our Superbet online games. Choose from over 200 online games that are easy to play. Visit www.superbet.gy to choose your game. Must be 18 years and older. Terms and conditions apply. Play responsibly.
Looking to bring your dream home to reality? Or simply taking on a home improvement project? Then National Hardware Limited is where you should start. Let us put that touch to your home. Choose from over 1,000 Berger Paint original hues for any surface. We are known for our trusted brands such as Westinghouse, Philips, Sadco, Rubbermaid, Pyrex, Gibson Home and so much more. National Hardware Limited, your do-it-best store. Located in downtown Georgetown and industrial site Rhymeville.